Okay, for those of you who don't know, my name is Michael Forrest, and it's go time. Now, before we get going here, I'm going to ask you to stay, clear this, stage area here. This way, nobody blocks this display behind me, and it gives me a little bit of room to move around the whole hosting thing, all right? Now, if I can direct your attention to the menu wheel in your lower left, you're going to notice that there's a microphone icon at the very top of that. And if that microphone icon is clear, then we can hear what's happening in your environment. Now, I've gone ahead and I've turned that to red. That basically means that you're muted. So if somebody comes into your space and says, "Hey, are you still on that thing?" We're not going to be able to hear that, right? So don't worry about that. Like if you have a dog barking in the background or something, you're not going to face social ruin back at the campfire by becoming known as the avatar that suddenly started barking during its quest time. All right, but now just because you're muted does not mean you can't express yourself. You can and should use this pink cheeked smiley face on your menu wheel. When you press it, your menu wheel, your emoji panel opens up in front of you, right? And if I say something like deep and meaningful, and you feel it deep down here, and it starts to build up, you can just let it out. Just let it flow on there. Maybe I got some backup dancers backstage, right? And maybe they come out and we break into It's Go Time the musical, and you're all really impressed. Throw up the applause when I live for it. Take a minute, drink that all in because it feels good. Right now, you can also, if I ask you guys a yes or no question, you can smile to say yes. You can frown to say no. Or if I say something funny, you want to show me you're laughing, you can do this silly face emoji here like this. And then there's this. This is not how you ask a question. This is how you alert me that there's something going on, there's something wrong. Like maybe, for example, I'm up here and I'm waving my hands around, and it looks like I'm talking, but you guys aren't hearing anything. That's a good time to do that. Or maybe this display behind me, maybe it bursts into flames. That's another good thing to do. Don't laugh. It actually happened once. I used to give my moderators a terraformer, this where they could do like special effects and stuff, and they decided it would be pretty funny to burn down the event. So they tried to do that, and that's why we don't give them Terraformer anymore. So lesson learned there. But yeah, so what can happen here also is a good way to let people around you know what you're experiencing. Like you can press the X to close it, but during events like this, it's a good idea to keep it open. Gives me some good feedback, lets me know how I'm doing. But more importantly, it lets people around you know what you're experiencing. So if the person next to you starts going like this, that means they found something funny, and you may not agree. You may be like, "Well, that's not funny at all. I'm going to go stand over here," and you can do that because this is VR. All right, now. Go Time is an event for Oculus Go users. So if you're on another device, don't worry about it. All are welcome. You may pick up some useful information that'll help a lot of the Go users that are in the community. There's a lot of Go users in Altspace and more coming every day. Now, let's see. Now, that being said, there are certain challenges when you're on the go in Altspace. All right, we're mainly going to be talking about how your devices perform in Altspace. So if you're wondering, why your Oculus room is always a mess, maybe the Wander app isn't taking you to the places you always dreamed of. Well, we can talk about that stuff. That's cool, but we're mainly going to talk about how these devices perform in Altspace because there are challenges. Speaking of challenges, I've been in bed for about the past year and a half, 2 years or so due to a medical condition. It is getting better, but when I first got my headset, I couldn't wait to get this thing on. You remember that, like when you first put on your headset, that feeling of being taken away to another place, right? And I've been reading about Altspace for a while, so Altspace was my first stop. And I come in Altspace, I step out of the load screen for the very first time, newly made avatar, and I looked up. And I looked up at the sky, and that sky looked a lot like what I remembered, and I was super grateful for this. I was so grateful, in fact, I started volunteering pretty much right away, actually the first day. And when I started volunteering, I found out that there were some issues about being on the Go in Altspace. Like the first one I found out about was power issue, right? I couldn't make it through an entire event. I would just suddenly disappear as my battery would go out, and I would have to charge up. I'd have to come back into Altspace. I'd have to track down the event host, right? And tell them why I flaked out. So I got off to kind of a rocky start there when I got into Altspace. And when I first dealt with it, I started asking around, like, how can I solve these problems, right? And I started to hear some stuff, right? Like I started to hear that on the go, I wouldn't be able to work this laser pointer. And you know what? That turned out to not be true. I was also told that these slides up here with this display, I wouldn't be able to, work these slides. And that turned out to not be true. I was also told that despite having a background presenting material like this, well, they told me that my device wasn't reliable enough to me to really, be hosting events like this. And that turned out to also not be true. And all these things told me there was a huge disconnect between the perception of what it was like to be on an Oculus Go versus the reality of that experience. And so, I started doing research and figuring out, like ways that we can improve things. And there's two paths you can take. You can start with the device you already have on your head. We're going to learn some stuff here that's going to make your devices perform better. Even before you leave here today, you're gonna walk out with, knowing how to do that. But you can also you can upgrade your experience to exceed the limitations of your device. And those of you that have been here before, you know that I can't stand this term because listen, if somebody tells you every single day they hate your shirt, you start thinking it's not your shirt they don't like, And a lot of people don't realize that the Oculus Go is a really great introduction to VR. It's a really great way to get because I'm on a Quest now, but if I had started out on a Quest, I wouldn't have stayed. Right? The Quest allows you to worry not about the up and down movement. Plus, you don't have to worry about the complexity of two controllers. You can kind of immerse yourself in VR more gradually. Kind of go into the pool a little bit slowly at a time, right, to get used to it. And I found that helped a lot. It's a really great, and I feel about the Go the way most people feel about their first car, right? I love the device. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful piece of equipment. All right, now let's talk about how to improve some of your experience here in Altspace. The first thing we're going to talk about is your devices lose power even when they're not in use, right? It's checking for updates. It's checking for updates for the apps, for the firmware. It's doing all these things when you're not using it, and that causes it to lose power. Now, if you come into Altspace with, say, 20% battery power, you're going to notice the screen's going to flicker and stuff like that. So to have the best performance possible, you want to make sure that you're as close to 100% as possible. And to do this, like let's say you open up the event schedule, you're at altvr.com and you're looking, what am I going to do tonight? And you see there's an event coming up called Go Time, and you've heard good things about the host. You've heard he's got this hair and he's got this shirt that you're seeing everywhere, right? And you decide, I want to go to that. So what you want to do is you want to plug in your device about an hour before the event starts. Right. This way you can ensure that your battery is going to be, topped off as high as possible, and that's going to help your performance a lot. Now, when you first get the device on your head, what the very first thing you want to do, right? You have it on, you have it turned on, you're at your Oculus home screen. You're going to notice that button that you press to turn the device on. Well, the very first thing you want to do is you want to press and hold that button down for about 4 seconds. When you do that, you're going to notice these 3 buttons appear in the air in front of you. The middle button is the restart button, and when you press that, your device is going to restart, and it's going to clear out all the temporary files that your device has been using while it checks for updates and does all the things that it's doing when it's not in use. It'll clear that out, and it'll make sure that your device is operating at the best that it can. It's like starting out with best foot forward kind of thing. And once you do that, you're going to notice when you come into Altspace, you're going to notice how important a role body language plays in here. Like if you're at an event like this and a moderator goes up to you, they're shaking their head back and forth like this, that means don't do that thing without them saying a word. Like in Altspace, you can say a lot without actually, saying anything. Like you'll notice if I'm on the stage here and somebody makes it up and I go like this, right? That means get off my stage, right? But, right, sometimes you're going to find on an Oculus Go that your real world hand might be here, but your avatar's hand might be up here. Right. And that can feel kind of weird. And 2, if I'm going like this to get off my stage, what you guys are going to see is my hand going around like this. And it looks like I'm saying, hey, everybody, welcome to Go Time. And I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying stay off the stage. It's a dangerous place. Right. So, how do you fix this? Well, if you're going to notice just below your trackpad, you've got 2 buttons. Right. And don't do this now because if it disappears, I'm going to feel it. Right. But that very bottom button, you got to think of that as like an eject button. When you press that at one time, it takes you out of Altspace to the Oculus home screen, and it gives you an option to quit the app or to resume the app. And that's great if you press it on accident, like you're dancing around at the Universe and you accidentally press that button, right? You just hit resume, you come back in, nobody will even know you left, right? But this button does something else, right? If you're looking straight ahead, right, and you have your hand at your side like this, and you press and hold that button for about 4 seconds, and this you can do now. You look straight ahead, press and hold that bottom button there while holding your hand out like that. Right? After about 4 seconds, your hand is going to snap right into place. And when it does, take a good look at your hand and ask yourself, is this where my hand is in the real world? Okay? If it's not, do this process again until you feel comfortable. Only you can determine what's comfortable for you. And this is going to help reorient the controller. And now your hand's going to feel more like where it should be. So when you do things like this, get off my stage, it's going to line up and it's going to look more natural. All right. So, and having a good body language in Altspace, I found that it'll actually affect the relationships, in here, because it allows you to express yourself better. Okay. Now, another thing that can happen from time to time is you're going to notice that your main menu wheel on your lower left, that collection of circles, you're going to notice that moves around from time to time. And sometimes it's going to move in a way and in a place that you can't reach. Right. But it's important to remember that on an Oculus Go, you have your menu in your hand at all times. just below the trackpad, you're going to find a button in the middle there. When you press on that button, your main menu is going to open up right in front of you. And when that happens, if you look straight ahead and press it again, your menu is going to close, right? So while that's mainly your main menu button, you don't really have to press that blue and white triangle. When that happens, though, if you're looking straight ahead, you're going to find that your menu wheel is going to actually move when you come out of the menu. So if you find your menus in a place that you don't want it to be, just look straight ahead, press that middle button on your controller, and then press it again, and then your menu will be right where it's supposed to be, right there on your lower left side, you know. And it'll also affect your space event, circles buttons on your right-hand side. Sometimes you'll have the world editor or host tools, on that. It's going to put your avatar right in the middle. It's much more comfortable that way. All right, now, the best piece of advice I got when I first started out was, and I was losing power all the time. Somebody told me to turn down my brightness, and I did not want to do it. I wanted to have the best graphic experience I could possibly have in Altspace, and to me, that meant having my brightness turned way up, right? To retina burning levels. It was painful, but my graphics were awesome, or so I thought. So what I did was I was desperate to get my battery to last longer, and what I did was every time I came into Altspace, what I did, before I even launched the app, I would go over to my Oculus settings from the Oculus homepage there, and on the right side I'd press settings, and in the middle I'd press brightness, and I turned off the auto brightness, and every time I came in, there's this vertical bar where you control the brightness, this blue bar, and horizontal actually. I don't know why I said vertical, but there's a horizontal bar there, and it's all blue. And each time I came into Altspace, I turned down that bar a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, until eventually there was no blue left. My brightness was completely off, and I came into Altspace, and I couldn't believe what I saw. I went to this event where where I'd help moderate, and there was this tree in that world in the corner. And I learned how to moderate there. So before the event started, I'd always go stand under that tree and then hang out with the other mods and stuff, right? And I came in with my brightness completely off, not knowing what to expect. And I came in, I looked at that tree, and that tree was like more real than anything I've ever seen in Altspace before, right? It had more depth, it had more color. It was so just a really great experience. I never turned my brightness up again after that, right? And yeah, it did make my battery last longer. So if you turn your brightness down all the way, your device is going to perform better. You're going to have better graphics, but most importantly, your battery is going to last longer, right? And I found at that point now I was making it through entire events, right? And I found people actually hung out after events. I didn't know that before that because I wouldn't be able to make it through. And this guy, that brings me to my next point, which is, you'll see in the beginning of this event, those of you that were here, there was another user that came up and he was picking on somebody for being on the go, right? Go users, they get picked on a little bit in Altspace, and primarily it's because there is an audio issue where the microphone on the Go is very sensitive. So the sound that comes out of your straps, out of your sound straps there, or ear straps, or head strap, rather. Where'd my hand go? My hand's gone. Okay, that's weird. That's different. Okay, there we go. Drifting in. Wow, anyone else see that? It looks strange. Oh, weird. Just kind of drifted in from the side there. Oh, okay, that was very odd. But yeah, what can happen is the sound that comes in from your headset through the straps, right? It gets picked up through your microphone and projected into Altspace, right? And we don't know what we sound like in Altspace. We don't know the sounds we're making. We can't hear ourselves. Actually, I was doing events for months before I actually heard what I sounded like. The way I did it was we have Raven Eye up there in the back. That's our camera that goes out on the YouTube. So these episodes are eventually going to make it up on YouTube. So if you want to say hello to everybody, hey, where do you want to wave out to YouTube? Hey, YouTube, how's it going? Right? We got Jay coming in here. We got Eric. We got Forbid Mercury 040 over here on the side. We got Bud Raymaker. So, hey, come into Altspace. It's great in here. All right. So, yeah, that's this. Now everybody gets to feel Altspace famous. So you go back and watch those videos, you can see yourself. All right. That got me thinking, when I was able to hear myself, you can't really tell what you sound like. So what can happen is you can go, like, say you're a new user and you go into the campfire and you see a group of avatars, talking, and you want to go see what they're talking about. So you walk on over to them, and before you even say a word, before you even make a sound that you're aware of, they turn around and they face you, like they can hear you coming, right? And they look at you, and they're like, and they come at you, and they go, "Are you want to go? Are you want to go?" That could feel like really off-putting when that happens. But that happens, like, you got to realize what they're experiencing is they're standing there talking to their friends. They're like, "Hey, Forbid Mercury, did you hear about that thing that happened the other day? Oh man, that was a good time the other day." And we're talking back and forth like that, right? And all of a sudden I hear a voice, and the voice is very familiar. And I turn around and I see your avatar, except I hear my voice coming out of your avatar the way it was in the past, because there's a sound delay. And that can be like, make it really difficult to talk to people when it's like that. And fortunately, it's really easy to manage this. You're going to notice on the very top of your headset, on the left-hand side, you have these two buttons, right? The leftmost button is the volume down button, and just next to it is the volume up button. And when you press one of these, you're going to see these vertical bars appear in front of you. Some will be solid, some will be clear, right? Now, what you're going for is you want to have 4 clear bars on the right-hand side. This way, your volume's 4 ticks away from the maximum. The trade-off with this is like, listen, people will start being nicer to you because your sound will be better, and they'll be able to hear, they'll be enough to be able to have a conversation with you. The problem is that sometimes you're going to have to strain to hear people in Altspace, but you have to remember you still have one good hand in the real world, right? And you can use it. What you can do is right now, if you take your left hand, you put it up to that head strap there, like cup it to your ear, you do that, right? You're going to notice that my voice goes up, right? You're going to hear me a little bit louder, and it's not going to be picked up on the microphone. And, this can get old kind of quick because you're constantly, picking up that hand and cupping it to your ear like that, right? And so what you're going to want to do, right, is if you can, put a pair of headphones on your headset, and this will ensure the only voice coming out of your avatar is your own. In my case, my wife, she went to the library and she got these free earbuds, right? And, with an audiobook. And she brought them home to show me, and, they suddenly went missing, right? And they appeared, the good news, they reappeared a very short time later, attached to my headset, and they remain there to this day. She says I stole them. I said I acquired them creatively to solve a problem. All right. And so, yeah, that's exactly what happened. And this got me thinking, because like this really changed my experience. Because after that, the only, a voice coming out of my avatar was mine. Occasionally you'd hear her come in and say, "Are you still on that thing?" Right. And I say, well, we solved that too because we got her a headset and now she's in Altspace with us. She helps us moderate. She's a really gifted world builder and we're lucky to have her. Right. But it did get me thinking, what else can I add to my device to make it better? How can I improve my experience? And I came up with what I call a Go Plus experience, right? And I call it this because let's see if I can, my slides fell over here. Oh, that's good. All right, hang on. We just lost our slides. All right, they're stuck. That's not good. All right, hang on. I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna push it, see if it works. All right, let's see. Go on. Oh, it's not working. What's going on here? All right, let's try this. Give it a good push. There we go. All right, that's better. All right, so we came up with actually the tablet that I used to control the slides. It fell over, but I find that whole push thing. It looks cool, right? It looks cool. I think it looks cool. All right, so I came up with what I call a Go Plus experience, and this, if you learn anything here today, this is probably the most important part. All right, and that's different. In order to explain this, I'm going to have to talk about these products up here, and to do that, I like to start off by saying these are just the products that I personally use. All right, it's the ideas behind these products that matter. It doesn't matter what battery pack you use. It doesn't matter what cable you use. It doesn't matter, if you find like a different thing that works better for you, come back and tell us about it. We like hearing about this stuff. If you try one of these, come back and tell us about it. We like hearing about that stuff too. The temptation is going to be to write these products down. You don't need to do that because if you go to altvr.com and you go up to where it says, if you go up to where it says channels, when you press on that, you're going to see all Altspace channels, appear out in front of you, and you're going to see Ravenhall events, like it says up on the sound booth there. If you click on Ravenhall events, you're going to be taken to our event channel, and there you're going to see all these products listed on the left-hand side for your convenience. You'll be able to click on any of those links and go check out the products and get their names and stuff like that. You'll also see a join Discord button if anyone has any interest in helping us put on events like this, or you'll also see the most important button on the internet, the subscribe button. Right? We don't get paid to do this, so it's a great way to say thank you if you've enjoyed our content. It also lets Altspace know that you enjoy our content, so yeah, if you press that, we'd appreciate it. But these products here, you have the Anker Power Core battery pack. Now, the Oculus manufacturer, they say, that we shouldn't use our devices while they're plugged in, but they say it is cool to use an external battery pack, and I figured this would solve my power problems. And when I ordered it, I also got this MagSafe cable here. And the reason I got this was because I noticed that when you plug in your device, it's very tight, the port. And I think of plugging it in and unplugging it every day, all that wear and tear would eventually loosen the contacts of the cable. And sure enough, I started to hear people who had gotten, their Oculus Go's around, when they first got it. A few months later, it started charging less effectively. And I believe the wire is responsible for this. So I tried this MagSafe cable. And what this MagSafe cable does is one tip plugs into your device, the other end plugs into the battery, and it's held in place by a magnetic connector. And this way, if maybe you shift your head suddenly, it's a great safety feature because what will happen is that wire will pop off, right? And you don't even have to come out of VR to fix it. You can just pick it up right there, hold it to the side, and it'll like thunk into place, right? And if you have your microphone open when you do this, you're in Altspace, people are going to hear that thunk and they can say, "What was that?" And they're going to be like, "That's power. That's what that is." And you don't have to say it. It's not going to affect how it works. I just thought it was fun to do. All right, now. This solved my power issue though when I got this, because now I was lasting a while in Altspace, but I found I had a new problem. All right, and some of you have experienced this, I'm sure, the overheating issue, right? Where you start, you drop down on the floor, you get that heat warning, and your device gets very hot. And I'd heard some people were using like ice packs to cool it down, because listen, the faceplate on the Oculus Go that's supposed to cool it, right? Well, it's different for everybody because it's installed by hand. All right, and as such, people get different results. Like some people overheat like once every half hour. I knew a guy that overheated every 2 minutes. Right, the very first go time we had, when we opened it up for questions, there was the guy's faceplate, like had actually melted. It deformed his head, so like the whole left side of it was actually pushed in. He sent me a picture. It was like really bad. It was just pushed in. And obviously, there was something wrong with his device getting that hot. But everybody experiences something a little different when it comes to this issue. And I heard some people were managing it by putting ice packs on their faceplate. Right now, I don't recommend doing this because honestly, condensation, water, electricity on your face, probably not a good combination. And the people I know that did this, they went through more than one device, so that can be very expensive. So what you want to do, what we came up with, is you want to try using. This is a USB mini fan. It's from a company called AC Infinity. It's really small. It fits right in the palm of your hand. It comes out through USB, so one end plugs into the battery. The battery's got two ports, so one is the wire, one is the fan. And it has 3 settings. And what you want to do is you want to attach it to the device. What I used was hair bands. I put them on my ear straps or my head straps rather, and I wrapped them around the round rubber feet with the silver part actually facing the faceplate. And on the day it arrived, I was lucky would have it. I was set to moderate the meditation event in Altspace. I don't know if you guys have ever been to it, but it's like on top of a mountain. It's really cool space. It's like fog coming down, there's smoke coming up from the bowls. But for some reason, I would always overheat exactly 20 minutes into the experience. It was always 20 minutes. And I'm on it there a couple of times a week, and every single time it was always 20 minutes. And on the day my fan arrived, I was set to go in there. So I got, very, eagerly hooked it up. I got it all attached and everything. I turned it on. And, if you ever seen Star Trek, you ever see the board with all the wires hanging down? That's what I felt like. That takes some getting used to. And I walked up to the host, Jeremy, before the event started, really nice guy. And I asked him, I said, "Can you hear my fan?" And he says, "Not at all." Right? It's whisper quiet, this thing. And I said, "Okay." And it's, because it's real small, it hangs on the front there. And, so I turned it up to medium and I said, "How about now?" He says, "A little bit, but it's not too bad." And I turned it up to, full blast. He goes, "I can hear that." He says, "You sound like you're in a wind tunnel," right? Very powerful for such a small fan. So I turned it down to the lowest setting and I never had to turn it up again, right? What happened was 20 minutes came and went. I didn't overheat at all on the lowest setting, right? And then, I went to another event to see what else would happen, because the event finished, I still hadn't overheated. 2 events in a row, I didn't overheat once. So I went to another event. Where's the line, right? Didn't overheat at all. I thought, now, this has never happened before. I'm in Altspace for 3 events. So I go back to my home space to hang out with my friends and stuff. And while I'm, hanging out with them, all of a sudden, I left Altspace for the very first time because I was tired, not because I had to. I didn't leave because I was overheating. I didn't leave because I ran out of power. I left by choice, and that was the very first time that it ever happened to me. At that point, I had been in Altspace for about 6 or 7 months, and I never left because I wanted to. And it wouldn't be the last time. I became super involved after that. I started moderating more events. I started hosting a lot of events, and I became really active. And you can too. It only requires, a couple of small changes and enhancement to the device, and it doesn't cost very much money either. This USB fan here, this is about $10 or $11 US. This cable is about $7 US. The most expensive thing is the battery, and that battery there is about $50 or $60 US. But it comes in different sizes, capacities, colors, and stuff like that, and you can find what works for you. That battery up there lasts for about 15, 16 hours. You may not need it that long. Maybe you're just coming in Altspace in the evenings, and you only need one that's going to last, about 4 hours. You'll be able to save some money that way. So you find what works best for you, right? And you're going to find that this vastly changes your experience. That being said, there are still problems that you can still have in Altspace. One is, the first I'm going to talk about, is the movement issue. You're going to notice time when you're on the go, you're going to move in ways you don't want to. Like if I'm in a campfire and I'm hanging out and I go to turn to say something to Bud Raymaker here, so I go to turn left, instead of turning left, I go straight. And I'm like, well, that was weird, right? Very odd. So I go to turn to Forbid Mercury 040 here, and they'll go turn to my right there, but instead of turning right, I move straight. And I'm like, what's going on? And so I go to back up and I press down on the controller, but instead of backing up, I go straight again. And I start to panic and I start bashing buttons, but no matter what I do, I just keep moving forward. And the next thing you know, I'm standing inside of an admin. All right? There is nothing more frightening than you're in the campfire, the admin on duty is standing there, and all of a sudden you're inside them, All right, there's nothing scarier than that. Man, I saw things. I saw like the past. I saw the future. I saw things about development. I saw things that I couldn't even talk about. What I can't talk about is how do you fix this? The way you fix this is what you want to do is you want to take your thumb, all right, and you want to gently swipe it without pressing down on your trackpad from right to left, left to right. It doesn't matter. But when you get to the other side, lift your thumb completely off the trackpad, cross it over in the air, and then when you come down, right, you're going to come down and just gently swipe it again. So you go swipe, 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 and then push down in the direction you want to go. Going to happen when you're in a rush, right? Like let's say you got to moderate an event, you got to host an event, maybe you got a hot date, no judgments are heard that can happen in here, right? And when you do that, you're going to put your headset on, you're going to see this notice that says can't find controller, right? Now, maybe, you need to change the battery, that can happen, but you put a fresh battery in that thing last night. And when that happens and you got a fresh battery and you see it can't find a controller, what's happened is your controller and your headset, they've stopped speaking to each other. Maybe the controller found out about your headset's secret life. I don't know, but either way, you're in a rush. You got to get in. What do? Well, you don't even have to take your headset off to solve this problem. You just need to remember 2 words: double down. And what I mean by this is just below the trackpad, you're going to find that you have those 2 buttons, right? If you press and hold those 2 buttons down, what you're going to see, all right, is a little white light appears on the trackpad, right, after about 4 seconds. Now, if you're wearing your headset, you're not going to see this, but you will see as soon as you lift your thumb back up that you've got your hand back again. And then you're going to come into the load screen. You're like, man, I sure am glad I went to go time. That Michael Forrest, he knew what he was talking about. He told me to double down, and I got to come in, and I'm on time for my event. So if that happens to you, you're welcome. All right. Now, the other thing that can happen is occasionally in Altspace, you're going to notice your screen goes dark. And this happens a lot less than it used to because Altspace has made a lot of improvements to make Altspace more performant. But occasionally, especially if you're doing a lot of world hopping, this can still happen. And the reason it happens is because everything in this room right now, that's in your headset. Now later you may go back to the campfire, right? And you're hanging out in the campfire and you're not thinking about go time anymore, but your headset is, right? Right now, in the campfire, about an hour from now when you're there, this button, this big red button that I'm about to push that does something really cool, right? This button here, that's in your headset, right? What this button controls is waiting for us down the street right there, and that's also in your headset, right? And, so when you go to the campfire with all this stuff in your headset, what's going to happen is your memory will run out. And when it happens, the screen will go dark. And people could still hear you. So all you have to do is say, don't worry, I'll be right back. Now, a great way to manage this is to get in front of it before it happens. And the way you can do this is when the event's over, you say, what do you want to do now? Right? And you say, let's go to the campfire. Well, you can do that. And then you'd be like, all right, well, you got to just give me a minute. I'll be right there. That's all you got to say. Then press the bottom button on your controller. You think of that like an eject button that ejects you out of Altspace. You press that one time. Right? And you get these 3 choices in front of you. You can quit or resume. You press, you press quit and it closes the app. You restart the app, you come back in, it should just take care of that. And but the best thing to do is just get in front of it before it happens. Now I see I'm a little bit over on time. I'm going to give you guys some world building tips here. Even give you a choice if you want to hear it. It's totally up to you. It only takes a few minutes. It's up to you if you want to do that. Otherwise, I could press that button. You can have that effect. So show me some hearts if you want to see that button there. Right? And let me see some smiling faces. You want to see? All right, cool. So we'll keep on going. Real quick, one more thing. Usually we open questions here, but we are going to be taking questions at the Ravenhill Flight Academy where we teach you guys to fly. So if you have any questions, just hang on to them. We're going to take them in just a minute. But just remember, if you learned anything here today, right, please share it with those you come in contact with. That's how we help, keep this thing going. So if you're in a campfire and somebody says, my headset's, my face is melting because it gets too hot and I'm overheating all the time. Tell them about the fan. Tell them about go time. Tell them how they can solve these problems. You'll feel good. They'll feel good. And that's how we keep it going. Now, that said, I'm going to push this button. Right now, when I press this, you're going to see outside the window. If you direct your attention outside the window, you're going to see one of our Ravenhill Talons ships fly by down the street. It's going to go up in the air over those trees, and it's going to come down and meet us in the back to take us to the Ravenhill Flight Academy. Now, once there, you'll be able to fly the ships if you want to. These hovercrafts are flyable over there, so we're going to teach you to fly. But if you want to fly around in style, you can use one of these ships here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push this button right here.
Ravenhill Talon aircraft en route to your position.
Here it comes. It goes down the street. Well, let's go outside and join it by going out back here. And thank you all for coming, man. You've been a great audience. So head on out here. Okay, cool. There's some exit music going on here. That'd be cool. Yeah. All right. So it should be coming down about now. All right. And yeah, here it comes. That's nice. All right. Now it's going to pop out a portal, and we're going to go into the portal, and we'll go over the Ravenhall Flight Academy.
Talon aircraft is now boarding outside for transport to the Ravenhall Flight Academy. Please exit the building and step into the blue light. Thank you.
All right, guys, if you have any questions, I'll see you there. Thanks for coming. You've been a great audience.